You know, for years, you've probably been told one simple story about your liver, that it's just a filter. But what if that story is missing the most important parts? Well, today we're going to uncover the truth about this incredible and honestly really misunderstood organ.
We've all heard some version of this, right? That it's this passive, silent worker that just chugs along in the background cleaning up whatever we throw at it. No questions asked, no support needed. It just does its job automatically.
Yeah, that whole idea? It's completely, fundamentally false. And understanding why it's false can change literally everything about your energy, your mood, your entire well-being. So let's set the record straight.
Okay, so first things first, I want you to forget that image of a simple filter, like something you'd find in a fish tank. The reality is so much more impressive. Your liver is a high-performance biochemical laboratory actively working 24/7 on unbelievably complex tasks.
And if you want to understand what I mean by high performance, just look at this number. Every single day, your liver processes over 2,000 liters of blood. I mean, stop and think about that for a second. That is an absolutely staggering amount of work for just one organ.
And in all that work, it's doing so much more than just filtering. Sure, it's neutralizing toxins, but it's also the master regulator for your hormones. It's the factory for essential digestive enzymes, and it's a critical player in creating the very energy your body runs on. It's a true powerhouse.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the crucial point. The liver is not an endless sponge. It has a breaking point. And when it gets overloaded, the whole system can start to tilt, sending ripples through your entire body. So, what pushes it over the edge? Well, it's things that are incredibly common in our modern lives. We're talking about too much sugar, alcohol, certain medications, dairy products for a lot of people. And two huge ones we often forget about: chronic stress and a simple lack of oxygen.
So, with all that in mind, just take a second. How do you actually feel on a day-to-day basis? Does any of this sound familiar?
Because that persistent fatigue you can't shake, that constant irritability, the hormonal chaos or stubborn digestive problems, those aren't just random. They are often direct signals from your body that your liver is overloaded and stressed out.
Okay, so that's the problem. But here is the really good news. Your liver has an incredible capacity to heal itself. We just need to give it what it loves. And from a biochemical standpoint, it's surprisingly straightforward.
It really comes down to three main pillars of support. Think of these as the keys that unlock your liver's natural ability to recover. We're talking about bitter substances, chlorophyll, that brilliant green stuff in plants, and, you guessed it, oxygen.
Let's start with bitter substances. You find them in things like wild herbs or even simple bitter drops. They act like an ignition key for something called bile production. And why do we care about bile? Well, it's absolutely crucial for breaking down fats, regulating hormones, and literally carrying toxins out of your body.
All right, next up, oxygen. Why is it so vital? It's all because of this tiny molecule called ATP. The easiest way to think of ATP is as the rechargeable little batteries that power every single cell in your body. But here's the catch. Your body cannot make enough of these batteries without plenty of oxygen. It's a direct equation. No oxygen, no ATP, no energy. Simple as that.
But you know, the story isn't just biochemical. There's this whole other dimension to it. In many ancient traditions, the liver is actually seen as the seat of our emotions, specifically anger. And this isn't just some old metaphor. It has real-world effects on our physical health.
Just look at this comparison. On the biochemical side, we know the liver processes physical toxins, but on the spiritual or emotional side, it's also tasked with processing emotional toxins like unexpressed anger or frustration. And just like a physical overload leads to fatigue, a blocked flow of energy from unprocessed emotions leads to stagnation and, eventually, poor health. So learning to actually process these emotions, to transform that raw anger into something like clarity or compassion, isn't just a mental exercise. It actually helps relieve the burden on your physical system and can kickstart regeneration right down at the cellular level. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important shift in how we see this. An overloaded liver isn't just a problem we need to fix, it's an opportunity. It's the key to unlocking a whole new level of well-being if we just understand what it's asking for.
So the crucial takeaway is this.
Real detoxification isn't some trendy cleanse you do for a week. It's a combination of sound biochemistry, a conscious awareness of what your body is telling you, and finally, taking self-responsibility for your choices.
And here is the blunt but incredibly empowering truth. Your liver has the ability to completely regenerate itself. That is a scientific fact. But it comes with one non-negotiable condition. You have to stop poisoning it and give it a real fighting chance. So I'll just leave you with this thought. Your liver holds the key to your energy, your emotions, and maybe even your sense of personal freedom. If you take the steps to free this incredible organ from its burden, what else in your life might you set free?